Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 14. I'm your host, Rashad Mitchell, coming to you live on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles, streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm your host, Rashad Mitchell. It's another episode, 14th episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell. Let's get into the world of sports, start with sports headlines. We're going to get into that. We're going to start with, not get into all the headlines that I see. We're going to get into some football, NFL football, the Falcons made a splash. They signed Justin Simmons, free agent safety, who's a two-time Pro Bowl selection, to a one-year, $8 million contract today. And Athletes First, which represents Simmons, announced on Thursday, which is today. So he'll join fellow Pro Bowl selection Jesse Bates III to form one of the best safety combinations in the NFL. Also, Atlanta made some moves yesterday. They traded a third-round pick to the New England Patriots for pass rusher Matthew Judon, filling a long-time void and a need. So they did lose unfortunately DeMarco Helms, lost the safety who started last season for a significant amount of time. So Raheem Morris was able to patch that up by getting uh safety Justin Simmons added to the fold. So you look at Justin Simmons, he's the only player in the NFL with multiple interceptions every year since he entered the league in 2016, an active streak of 8 straight seasons. So his 30 interceptions leads the NFL in that time span. Behind him is Xavier Howard with 29, Kevin Byard 28, and J.C. Jackson with 26. So he played 8 seasons with the Denver Broncos, but he was released in March due to a salary cap move. So he been one of the best safeties in the NFL for a long period of time and one of the premier safeties. He's definitely a guy that can definitely make interceptions, a ball hawking safety. As you need in the backfield, yes, you got to know cover and knock down, passes. But if you can get the ball in your hands and be a ball hawking safety, that's a plus for the secondary for the Falcons. So they made a move about that today. So they're definitely going to improve their defense. Uh, Other NFL news: the Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott says that talks on contract are on the right way. He said. He said in a quote, "I'm not putting that much thought into it. Hoping it gets done now. Hoping it gets done in a couple of weeks when the season or whatever happens. I just know conversations are on the right way. Obviously, he's entering the final year of his deal. He's set to make $29 million and count 55 million against the salary cap. Without an extension, Prescott will hit the free agent market in March to count 40 million against the Cowboys cap 2025. That's some of the things that's going on with that. Other news: Russell Wilson will make his Steelers preseason debut against the Bills on a Saturday night. So that's going to be the second game um, for the Steelers, second preseason game. So he will be making his debut as a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson. In other news, see, in baseball news, Brewers Christian Yelich is have season-ending back surgery, uh, putting into the 2018 NL's MVP's resurgent season. He's been leading in the National League in batting average with 315, also an on-base percentage of 406 when he went on the injured list in late July. So he's going to be on the off the team, unfortunately, because this Brewers team definitely is a contending team for possible championship. Definitely in the National League for as a pennant is concerned. They lead the National League Central, so he's not going to be for the playoff push, unfortunately. So he's out for the season due to back surgery, season-ending back surgery. Also, he had 11 home runs, 42 RBIs, 21 stolen bases, and 73 games, despite the back issue. So that's going to be a tough situation for the Brewers to lose a guy like him. So that's some of the headlines in sports. Gonna be a shorter show. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be on here to 10 o'clock. I don't see that happening. But we'll see what happens as the show progresses. So as I continue on with NFL preseason, right now you got an NFL preseason game going on right now. The Eagles and the Patriots. It's the third quarter, 2:34 to go. In the third quarter, the Patriots lead 10-3. Patriots are at home. As a matter of fact, the third quarter just ended. But what I see is the end of the third quarter. So the score is 10-3 in favor of the Patriots. That's what I see right now. That's the only game that's going on right now for us. Preseason football is that's the long game. We got games coming up on Saturday: Falcons and the Ravens, the Bengals and the Bears, Giants and the Texans, Lions and the Chiefs. Possible Super Bowl preview. Possible. Um, Vikings and the Browns, Bills and the Steelers. You got Commanders and the Dolphins, Cardinals and the Colts, Seattle Titans, Jets, Panthers, Rams, Chargers, Jaguars and the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys and the Raiders. So it's a lot of games coming up on Saturday, and only two games on Sunday. Saints and the Falcons, no, Saints and the 49ers and the Broncos and the Packers. That's the storyline with the NFL preseason. So let's get into some baseball. Look at the standings. Look at the baseball, Major League Baseball recap. I think I did American League East is very, very tight for the American League East division, man. Baltimore 72-50. Yankees are 72-50 as well. So they have the same identical record in the American League East tied. That's what it's about, man. When you talk about baseball in August, as we go into mid to late August, September, that's when the pennant race, division races heat up for the division and stuff like that. So that's what's all about, the race for the playoffs, the race for the division. Now it gets, very, very interesting. Every game matters as you go into, September. So in that perspective, Baltimore and New York are tied for the same record in the American League East, 72-50. And thing that's interesting, they've been the two best teams in all of baseball because now Philadelphia, they're 70-50. They got two let no, they got the same losses as the Yankees and the Warriors combined. I mean, as far as like the amount of losses, 50-50-50, but more wins are in Baltimore and New York's favor, 72 wins, while 70 wins are for Philly. So Boston is 8 games out of first, 63-57. Tampa Bay is 59-61. Toronto's 57-64. But the best record in baseball, as I check, is the Cleveland Guardians. Won 5 in a row. They're 72-49. 40 and a half games up over Minnesota, who has a 67-53 record. So Cleveland has the best record in baseball. Shows a lot of parity. Who thought that Cleveland Guardians would have the best record in baseball? By a game, one loss, one less loss. Got the same amount of wins as Baltimore and New York, but they do have a better record because they playing 595 baseball with 49 losses and 72 wins. Kansas City 66-55, 6 games out. Detroit is 59-63. The White Sox are 29-93. In the American League West, you got the Houston Astros 3 games up in first place, 65-55. These are what the Houston Astros are about. They had got to a tough start, during the season struggle. But now they playing like truly like the Houston Astros that we come to know. You know what I'm saying? They usually be in the pennant race, usually be, in the playoffs, going further in the pennant race, going further in the baseball playoffs and get to the World Series or the National Championship, American League Championship Series, excuse me, the ALCS. So this team's playing like it. So right now they won 8 in a row. So make case they're the hottest team in baseball right now. They won 8 straight, so they're playing right at the right time. 8 out of the last 10, 8 straight wins, 65-55. So this is what the Houston Astros are about. With Jose Altuve, the main guys that they got on their team from the teams from the past. Now you've seen them play like it. You know what I'm saying? So they're 65-55, 3 games over. Seattle 63-59. Texas is 56-65, 9.5 games out. The Angels are 52-69, and the Oakland A's are 52-70. So let's go to the National League. You got Philadelphia is 70-50, 16.5 games up over Atlanta, 64-57. The Mets are 62-59, 8.5 out. Washington 55-66, 76 losses. 45 wins for Miami. And the Brewers, despite losing Christian Yelich for the season due to back surgery, that's going to be season ended. They are 69-52, so they're on cruise control to get that division title, be in the playoffs because they 9 games up over Cincinnati and St. Louis. Both got same identical records at 60 and 61. Chicago Cubs 59-63. Pittsburgh is 56 and 64. And anything that's interesting is look at the American League West. It's very, very tight. Who thought that? The Dodgers are 71 and 51. They lost 2 in a row, but the Arizona Diamondbacks are red hot. They 69-53, only 2 games out of first. They won 6 in a row. The Padres are 69-53. They won 3 in a row, but they only 2 games out of first place behind the Dodgers. So the Dodgers not on cruise control. They're going to really have to work hard to win this division. As I see the standings the way it is right now, it's very, very interesting. 2 games up in the American National League West. Who thought that? The Dodgers have, only 2 game lead over Arizona and San Diego, and also Arizona and San Diego. The Padres and the Diamondbacks have the same identical records at 69 and 53. So that's interesting. All right, let's look at the scores that's going on right now in baseball. Major League Baseball scores. Right now, in the top of the ninth, the Phillies lead the Nationals 13-3. In the bottom of the fourth, it's a tie game between the Twins, Minnesota Twins, and Texas Rangers 2-2. Finals, we have the Mets lost at home to Oakland Athletics 7-6. The Tigers beat the Mariners 2-1. The Brewers beat the Dodgers 6-4. The shutout win for the Giants over the Braves 6-0. And the Orioles beat the Red Sox 5-1. All right, so that's the storyline of baseball. So let's get into 101 memorable home runs book that I've been reading. We're going to resume with number 81, Mike Smith, one of the great players of all time. Number 81. We're going to resume with that. That's the 81st memorable home run in baseball history was when he hit the record 48th home run, lifting the Phillies. Now, the Philadelphia Phillies had muddled in mediocrity for so much of the 1980 season. By August 10th, they were 6 games out in third place with a record of 55 and 52, looking up at the Montreal Expos and Pittsburgh Pirates. Then they started to win. This team featured Hall of Famer pitcher Steve Carlton, known as Lefty, as he was called, was in the midst of a 24-9 season, which he would toss 104 innings. But at first was the all-time hit leader Pete Rose, smooth fielding Gary Maddox patrol center. Maddox won 8 Gold Gloves, sparking the New York Mets broadcaster from the Pittsburgh slugger Ralph Kern to say 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. The other third is covered by Gary Maddox. Bob Boone, son of Ray and father of Aaron and Brett, was the team's 3-time All-Star catcher. Powerful 4-time All-Star Greg Luzinski, the Bull, held down left field. He had 130 RBIs in one season, 120 in another. So the bullpen was anchored by 2-time All-Star Tug McGraw. But the heartbeat of the team was obviously third baseman Mike Smith. He was selected by the Phillies out of Ohio University in the second round of the 1971 draft. The pick right after the Kansas City selection of George Brett from El Segundo High School in California. Now, Smith had gone undrafted out of high school. He hadn't even made his hometown Dayton's All-City team. His knees already hurting. Ohio University had not offered him a scholarship, but he was a walk-on shortstop on a freshman team for which he would hit 1 home run. But Mike Smith got better and better. Athletic and hardworking, the college shortstop worked himself into a 2-time All-American, clubbing 27 home runs, 98 RBIs driven in during his college career. So a scout of the Phillies, a longtime scout named Tony Lucadello, who signed 52 players who would make the big leagues, was a big fan of Smith. So in 1971, he unsuccessfully urged the team to use his first round pick to draft him. Instead, the Phillies selected Roy Thomas, a pitcher who went 20-11 in his career, Houston, St. Louis, and Seattle. The California Angels were also in on Smith. If the Phillies hadn't taken him with the 30th overall pick, the Angels would have done so several selections later. California picked Ron Jackson, beg your pardon, Ron Jackson, high school outfielder from Birmingham, Alabama, who even eventually be the Boston Red Sox hitting coach in 2004 when the team won its first World Series in 86 years. So as a late season call-up, Smith hit his first Major League homer on September 16, 1972, a 3-run homer that beat the Montreal Expos and snapped Baylor Moore's 25-inning scoreless streak. So that winter, the Phillies traded starting third baseman Don Money to the Milwaukee Brewers to clear the path for Smith. So Phillies knew what they had at 6'2", 195 pounds. Smith was intense and serious, made the team's roster for good in 1973, but he struggled. He did hit 18 homers and drive home 52 RBIs, but he struck out 136 times in 443 at bats. He finished with a 196 batting average. He hurt his first booze. It wouldn't be his last as a professional. Philly fans are very tough, even on the new face of the franchise. But Smith rebounded over the next 3 years. He led the National League in home runs with 36 home runs, 38 home runs, and 38 home runs, but also with strikeouts with 138, 180, and 149. Also, Smith obviously became a star. The Phillies won 3 straight National League East championships, 1976, 1977, and 78. Gained the nation's attention on April 17, 1976, when he hit 4 home runs in the game against the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley Field. So during his career, Smith would lead the National League in home runs 8 times, finishing with 548 dingers. He had 13 seasons of hitting at least 30 home runs. And when you hit that many home runs, few care about how much you strike out. Smith was a 12-time All-Star who was selected in 1980 as MVP of the World Series. He won 10 Gold Gloves for his defensive work at third base, second only to Baltimore's Brooks Robinson with 16. He won 10 Gold Gloves. He led the National League in slugging percentage 5 times and RBIs in 4 seasons. His number 20 was iconic in his batting stance and where he held his bat high and almost completely turned his back to the pitcher, often imitated by Phillies fans. His thick auburn hair and reddish mustache were trademarks too. So in 1987, on April 18th, Smith hit his 500 home run, a game-winning 3-run shot at the top of the ninth off of Don Robertson of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was the 14th player to hit 500 home runs. So let's skip over this. Look into why he's part of the 81st memorable home run in the history of baseball. Let's break this down. Okay, Smith hit 16 home runs in the final 6 weeks of the 1980 season. He had 9 in the last 2 weeks, 4 in the last 4 games. So they pulled into Montreal on October 3rd, 1980, tied for the division lead with the Expos. Smith hit a sacrifice fly in the first and sole homer in 6 to power the Phillies past the Expos 2-1 to take over sole possession of first place. So the next day, the game was delayed 3 hours by rain with 2 outs in the ninth. Top of the ninth, the Phillies trailed 4-3 for Bob Boone tied the game with an RBI single. So overall, the Philadelphia reliever was masterful, throwing 3 innings of one-hit ball to keep the Expos in check. In the 11th, Pete Rose singled, and with 1 out, Smith faced Stan Bonson, who in 1968 was the American League Rookie of the Year for the New York Yankees. On a one-ball count, Smith drove Bonson's offering deep to left at Olympic Stadium. As Philly broadcaster Andy Musser described it, long drive to left field, he buried it. He buried it. It was the Smith's 48th home run, which was the team record at the time, until Ryan Howard broke it, hit 58 in 2006. He hit 58. So no third baseman in history hit that many. The record would last 27 years until Alex Rodriguez hit 54 for the Yankees. So in 1980, Smith finished with 121 RBIs. He was unanimously selected as the MVP National League Most Valuable Player. He won 2 others in 1981 and 1986. So the Phillies beat the Houston Astros in the National League Championship Series and went on to win the World Series in 6 games with the Kansas City Royals, the first World Series championship in franchise history. Smith did his part, hitting 2 homers and knocking in 7 runs. He retired in 1989 after 18 seasons. He was selected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1995. At the time, boasting the fourth highest percentage of votes, 96.5. He was a part of the Major League Baseball All-Century team in 1999 as the best third baseman. In 2004, the Phillies unveiled a bronze statue of Smith outside the third base gate at Citizens Bank Park. All right, so that's the 81st memorable home run. Now we're going to go to number 80. Robin Yount is next on the docket. Hit shortstops, delivers Harvey's wall bangers. It was a crazy season. The Milwaukee Brewers were suffering at 23-24 on June 1st, 1982, stalled in sixth place in the 17th division. So team general manager Harry Dalton fired skipper Buck Rogers and replaced him with hitting coach Harvey Kuhn. In his playing days, Kuhn was a terrific hitter, winning 1959 American League batting championship with 353 batting average for the Detroit Tigers. But the Brewers responded to the relax and let's have fun style of Kuhn and immediately won 20 of their next 28 games. Robin Yount, Gorman Thomas, Paul Molitor, Ben Aguilvi, Ted Simmons, and Cecil Cooper. The Brewers powered their way back into contention. As a team, the Brewers ended up hitting 216 home runs. Their ninth hitter, second baseman Jim Gantner, chipped in with a 295 batting average and giving you an idea of their powerful lineup. And the team started to be widely known as Harvey's Wall Bangers. It was ironic in a way since Kuhn was really a singles hitter once traded for a home run champion overlooked Rocky Colavito, but all that winning wasn't all that easy. Though their ace Pete Vukovich Vukovic did win a Cy Young Award in the American League in 1982, the Brewers weren't blessed with great starting pitching depth. So the fact that Hall of Fame relief pitcher Riley Fingers, the American League's MVP and Cy Young Award winner in 1981, started to suffer elbow woes didn't help the cause. So Dalton made a late season deal for 37-year-old starting pitcher Don Sutton to help solidify and bolster the staff. The lifelong time Dodger of LA, who had been pitching for the Houston Astros, was just what the Brewers needed, and Sutton went 4-1 down the stretch. All right, so let's get to the gist of this with Robin Yount. He's perfect ball player, just the way he runs, his defensive grace. He comes in on the floor, plays a short hop, makes the throw better than anyone I've ever seen. He's the best shortstop I've ever seen play. That was according to New York Times writer Dave Anderson. So I want to talk about all the stuff prior to, it's all about Robin Yount, what he did, why he's on this list. Speaking of Robin Yount, he finished the season with 29 home runs and 114 RBIs, hit 331. The stat was 0.001 shy of glory. If he got a hit in the ninth instead of being struck by a pitch, he would have won the batting title. His defense at shortstop was stellar, made him a Gold Glove award. So the Brewers rebounded from 0-2 deficit in the American League Championship Series with the California Angels to win the American League pennant and faced the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. The Cardinals won the Suns Bowl. It was called because of the famous breweries in both cities, 4-3. Robin Yount hit 414 with a homer and 6 RBIs in the full class, but it wasn't enough. What I'm trying to do is get to the home run that he hit. That's the main thing. Okay, I think see early 1982 in September, Boston Red Sox, Detroit Tigers had become contenders rather than contenders for the American League East Division title. The Baltimore Orioles, managed by Hall of Famer Earl Weaver, were still alive on the last weekend of the regular season. They were also playing at home, hosting the Harvey's Wallbangers. Yount had just turned 27, so the Blues had to win only one game of four at Memorial Stadium to clinch the division crown. But they made things difficult for themselves by dropping the first three games to the Birds by a combined score of 26-7. The season had come down to one game of winner take all, the first time since the Red Sox and New York Yankees in 1949. Two future Hall of Famers Sutton and Baltimore's Jim Palmer started the pivotal contest, but then Robin Yount became the story. In the first inning, he homered to right. In the third, he homered to center. The Brewers could excel. In the eighth, he tripled and scored. The Brewers won the game 10-2 in the division. So I think that's what they talk about, the home run, that home run that he hit. In that game against Baltimore due to what was at stake. So I don't see nothing else that stands out. I guess that's the home run that he hit against the Brewers. So that's number 81, number 80. Okay, now we got number 79, Frank Robinson, Robbie's greatest thrill. He batted himself second when he made the history the preseason afternoon of April 8th, 1975. He became the first black manager, like a player manager. He made history with that. He was 39 years old, entering his 20th season as a player, but he was a manager as well. So look into the home run that he hit that stood out. Okay, you see the stand ovation at Municipal Stadium before a crowd of 56,204. He brought out the lineup card on opening day. So Don Mitich was pitching for the New York Yankees. The count was 2 balls and 2 strikes. On a fastball low in the way, Robinson pulled it into the bleachers and left. That was the 575th home run and hit number 2,901 of his career. I think that was the home run that stands out. Unless I'm missing something. Yeah, that was his first game as a big league manager, hitting a home run in the first inning. So that was a memorable moment. So let's go to number 78, Johnny Lindell, a pitcher with pop. Interesting. Johnny Lindell. So on October 1st, 1949, China, Chairman Mao announced the establishment of the People's Republic of China. So at Yankee Stadium, Johnny Lindell stepped to the plate. It was a bit of surprise. He batted right-handed. He hadn't hit a homer since July, but he had 2 hits in the game. And his last at bat poked a pitch far enough to force Ted Williams to one track in the left field. Lindell, as a former pitcher who had converted to the outfield, had hit 317 in 1948. But this was 1949. His average languished in the 230s. Yeah, let's fast forward to this scenario. Pitch was First pitch was up, ball one. Dotson. See, first name. What was his first name? Dotson. What was his first name? Trying to find the person's name. Joe Dobson of Boston. Okay. He threw the first pitch that was up, ball one. The second pitch was high too, but Lindell drove it deeper to the left field bleachers that gave the Yankees a 5-4 lead. So that's the memorable home run right there. Yep. Number 77, Al Weiss, a most miraculous Met. That's the 77th memorable home run. Was hit by a man named Al Weiss. So let's look at this scenario, what he did. He's probably 1969 season. Look into that. He's known as the most miraculous Met. So I'm trying to see what game he hit this home run that was memorable. Okay, this is a home and home matchup against the Chicago Cubs The Mets at the time was 45-34. This is 1969 season has to be, for what I see. So in the home half of the showdown, it was Weiss who was the hero. In the fourth inning of the second game at Wrigley Field, the contest was tied at 1. He was down 1-2 in the count with Art Shamsky on third, Ed Krampus on first. He choked up a little more than usual. Weiss swung and hit the ball onto Waveland Avenue. He was so shocked he said he had to remember to be sure and touch every base. So it was his fifth homer in 8 years. So that's gotta be what it is. Yeah, against the Cubs. Right, number 76, Willie Mays. Willie Mays, classic clout off for Spawn. Okay, bottom of the 16th, facing Ryan Spawn. I think that's the guy name. Just want to make sure. Trying to check it out and see. That's the guy that was pitching to Willie Mays. See what's happening. He pitched to him. He won 360 games, more than any left-handed pitcher in the history of baseball. And gotta be Warren Spahn. Yeah, Warren Spahn. All right, so the home run that was hit against Spahn was in the 16th inning. So into the bottom of the 16th, Spahn's pitching line was 8 hits allowed and 1 walk. So this game had McCovey, Milwaukee's Hank Aaron, who was 29 at the time. So he was 0 for 5, Willie Mays, as he stepped to the plate with 1 out in the bottom of the 16th. So he hit a long drive that cleared the fence into left, and the Giants won 1-0. Yeah, so that's the memorable home run right there. Right, number 75, I got Hank Greenberg returned the first hammering Hank. So got the home run that he hit that was memorable. Who wasn't against? I think it was a grand slam. That's what it looks like. They were trailing by a run the top of the ninth against the Browns. Trying to see the name of that team, the Browns. Is the St. Louis Browns? Trying to find that out. Yeah, he took a second pitch and hit a grand slam inside the left field foul pole. The Tigers won 6-3 to capture the American League pennant. So that must be the memorable home run that Greenberg hit. I believe that was the case. Right, let's skip that. Keep moving. Babe's first in the house built for him. That's number 74 in Yankee Stadium. Let's talk about that. Yeah, that home run that Hank Greenberg hit looks like that was home run against the Browns. But now I'm not trying to figure out who was it against. Yeah, St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis Browns. Okay. All right, let's move on to Babe Ruth. Number 74 to 74th. Remember home run was Babe Ruth. This is gonna be my last one. Then I'll stop right here. Get into some college football news about the Associated Press poll. Then go into on this day in sports history for August the 15th. Then be done with the show. Right, Babe Ruth. He hit his first home run at Yankee Stadium, which would be the house that Ruth built. That's what it will be called in years to come. So who he hit this first home run against? So he was on April 18, 1923. With 2 outs in the run-in, he walked Yankees center fielder Whitey Witt, Howard Emke, right-hander for the Red Sox. Okay, so it's the Red Sox and the Yankees. So he threw a slow ball and Ruth hit it fast and hard, deep to right field. No one there measured it, but Ruth and the 70,000 in the stands knew it was a home run. It was Yankee Stadium's first home run hit by the one and only Babe Ruth. It'd be obviously the house that Ruth built. So that's number 74. So that's it. So I'll resume with number 73 next week. All right, so let's get into time to get into something else. College Football Associated Press poll. Let's get into that. Associated Press. Let's get into that news about that. That came out this week. The Associated Press poll, the AP poll. I'm more into that more than anything than the other poll, the coaches poll. This is the Associated Press polls. Let's go over that. Go over who made that top 25. That the rankings that was released 2 days ago. All right, number one, no surprise here, is Georgia. Number two is Ohio State. Number three, Oregon. Number four, Texas. Number five, Alabama. Six, Ole Miss. Seven, Notre Dame. Eight, Penn State. Number nine, Michigan. 10, Florida State. 11, Missouri. 12, Utah. Number 13, LSU. 14, Clemson. 15, Tennessee. 16, Oklahoma. 17, Oklahoma State. 18, Kansas State. Number 19, Miami of Florida. Number 20, Texas A&M. Number 21, Arizona. Number 22, Kansas. Number 23, Southern Cal. And North Carolina, number 20, North Carolina State, 24 and 25 is Iowa. So that's the top 25 for the preseason for the AP poll. So that's the top 25 that came out recently. And college football is right around the corner. You're about like 9 days away. The first game is going to be on August 24th when the Florida State Seminoles, number 10 team in the country, will face Georgia Tech in Maryland. So that's the story on that. And also for the second consecutive season, Georgia is number one as in the preseason AP poll for the second consecutive season. No surprise here, man. They're going to be motivated to win the championship this year. So that's the Associated Press poll, as far as that's concerned. So now it's time to get into on this day in sports history for August the 15th. Let's get into it. I can go every event that happened, but some that interest. So here it is, August the 15th, on this day in sports history. We're going to start with in 1886 on August 15th, American Major League Baseball pitcher Guy Hecker scored 7 runs in one game. In 1899 on August 15th, Louisville's pitcher Henry Dowling struck out 5 times in the game. On August 15th, 1905, Philadelphia A's pitcher, future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Lou Waddle pitched a no-hitter against St. Louis Browns, winning 2-0 in 5 innings. On August 15th, 1912, Yankee Guy Zinn set a record by stealing home twice in a game. On August 15th, 1925, White Sox Dickie Kerr made his first appearance since winning 2 World Series games in 1919. In 1931, in 1931, August 15th, Dutch Spakenburg football team forms. August the 15th, 1939, first night game at baseball's Comiskey Park in Chicago as the White Sox beat the Cleveland Browns 5-2. On August 15th, 1945, Chandler sells World Series radio rights for $150,000 to Gillette. Ford had been World Series sponsor since 1934, paying $100,000 annually. 1950, on August the 15th, Izzard Charles won a TKO against Freddie Bishore in 14 rounds to retain heavyweight boxing title. August the 15th, 1952, in the 19th NFL Chicago All-Star game, Los Angeles beat the All-Stars 10-7. 1958, August 15th, 25th NFL Chicago All-Star game, the All-Stars won 35-19 against Detroit. 1960, on August 15th, the CFL's Calgary Stampeders move into McMahon Stadium. On August 15th, 1960, Chicago Bears beat the New York Giants 16-7 in Toronto. 1964, on August the 15th, 1964, American long jumper Ralph Boston set then world record of 27 3.5 at Kingston, Jamaica. 1964, August the 15th, Mayor Richard J. Daley declares Ernie Banks Day in Chicago, honoring the Cubs baseball player. August the 15th, 1964, Major League Baseball, Philadelphia Phillies turned triple play in 8-1 win over Mets at Shea Stadium. August the 15th, 1966, Puerto Rican champion Jose Torres beats American Eddie Cotton on points in Las Vegas to retain the WBA light heavyweight boxing title. This is interesting. On August 15th, 1970, Patricia Palinkas became the first woman pro football player in Orlando. Didn't know that. August 15th, 1975, Major League Baseball Baltimore Orioles manager Earl Weaver is ejected from both games of a home doubleheader against the Texas Rangers. August 15th, 1989, in his second start since after cancer treatment, Giants Dave Dravecky breaks his pitching arm while throwing to Tim Raines. August 15th, 1990, Mark McGwire his first to hit 30 home runs in each of his first 4 seasons. August 15th, 1993, Nolan Ryan won his 324th game and final victory as the Rangers of Texas beat the Cleveland Indians 4-1. August 15th, 1997, Dan Wilson hit Seattle Mariners 3,000th home run. August 15th, 1997, Los Angeles Dodgers retired manager Tony La Sota's number 2 jersey as the manager. August 15th, 2012, Seattle Mariners. Felix Hernandez became the 23rd pitcher to throw a perfect game against the Tampa Bay Rays, winning 1-0. And that is it for on this day in sports history for August the 15th. So that's it for the show, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week I'll be on the air, be episode number 15. Before I close out, got two new articles you can check out on e5280sports.com. The first article I wrote about was about the history of the Kickoff Classic. Uh, those who are not familiar with that game, that was a very important game for college football because the Kickoff Classic was the first ever game to be played in August. Because prior to that, college football was not played in August until August 29th, 1983, at the old Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Nebraska Cornhuskers played the Penn State Nittany Lions. And Penn State, they had won the national championship the previous year, and they played in a rematch. They had played each other, several times. Preseason number one was Nebraska Cornhuskers, and the Penn State Nittany Lions was the defending champions. So they played in this game, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers won 44-6. But it was a very important game because on August 29th, 1983, that was a very monumental paradigm shift in college football for us having games being played in August. So you see what's going to be happening, next Saturday, where Florida State is going to be playing against Georgia Tech. That's going to be on August 24th. Well, it wasn't always like this. For the first time ever in 1983, we had a game being played for college football on August 29th, 1983. It was the first regular season college football game to be played in the month of August. So I did a piece on that. I wrote an article about that, talked about it. You go to e5280sports.com. You'll read the history of the Kickoff Classic because it kicked everything off. It started in 1983. And you had like other games that copied that blueprint, like the Pit Skin Classic, the Eddie Robinson Classic, stuff like that. It got revived in 2008, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, stuff like that. But you can go to the website, E5280 Sports and Lifestyles, excuse me, E5280sports.com. You can read the article about the Kickoff Classic that I wrote, the history of it. You can check that out. That's up. You'll learn about the history because that was a very monumental game. It definitely opened doors for other games to be played in August. Some of that wasn't done. It was a paradigm shift. It was a watershed moment, and it opened doors for. It got a lot of coverage. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Michael Rozier was on that team. Turner Gill, Irvin Fry. That team was a great team. One of the great teams after winning the national championship. They were a powerful team, and they lost to Miami in the Orange Bowl, 31-30. So Nebraska, that game against Penn State, that was a monumental game that it was on the cover of Sports Illustrated during that time for the issue for September 5th, 1983 issue. So that game will be covered by ABC Sports. The game was actually on CAS Communications Network. So it wasn't really on regular TV at the time until later on. ABC Sports will be able to cover it, the Kickoff Classic. And that's from 1983 to 2002. Like I said, it spawned a lot of games that came after this kind of game. Pit Skin Classic that began in 1990. In 1997, you had the Eddie Robinson Classic. But the NCAA made some changes, rule changes regarding season opening extra games. It brought it into the Kickoff Classic. So it was over in 2002. That's from 1983 to 2002. But the revival of kickoff games got revived again in 2008 with the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic, Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta, Georgia. So you read the whole article, check it out on e52asports.com. Also, the 1989 Miami Hurricanes, I did a piece on that. That's on the website. But no, that team just going in a state of transition. Jimmy Johnson went to the Dallas Cowboys. And he formed a dynasty, won two championships with them. He could have won the third, but he left Dallas. But Jimmy Johnson did the right thing. Then here comes Dennis Erickson, who's a very innovative and from his offensive standpoint, um, implementing a one-back offensive system known as the one-back spread. So he came from Washington State Cougars and led them to two national championships, and that continued the great run that Miami had. So they were such a great team. They were doing their thing, and they was able to, win a third national championship with a third different coach. Because the first two coaches were Howard Schnellberger and obviously Jim Johnson. And then here comes Dennis Erickson. So Miami was definitely a team of the '80s during that time. They were the team of the '80s. They was able to win their third national championship, cemented themselves as the team of the '80s. They won in '83, '87, '89, and they was able to win that championship. So I go over that season of '89. Lost one game to Florida State, but the game of that year was against Notre Dame. At that time, that was a very intense rivalry. They won 27-10, snapping Notre Dame's 23-game winning streak because Notre Dame had beaten Miami the year before, snapping their 36-game regular season winning streak, winning 31-30. So that was a very intense rivalry at the time. Not the same as it used to be. Well, I wrote a piece about that. You can check that out, and hopefully you enjoy that article about the 1989 Miami Hurricanes. Go over it, read it. It's on E5280sports.com. So I want to know, ended on that note, and hopefully you enjoyed it. My analysis of that, the breakdown. So that's it. That's it for the show for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, 36-game regular season win streak. That was a very intense rivalry at the time between Miami and Notre Dame. So I did a piece on that in '89. So that's it for the show. I'll be back next week. The show before the college football season kicks off again. Florida State will be playing in week number 0 to start the season. FSU against Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland. They're gonna be playing each other. So that's gonna be the matchup at that time, August 24th. So I'll be talking about that game. That game will be played in Dublin, Ireland. So college football is definitely gonna be back. So once I come on the air next Thursday, I'll be talking about games that's gonna be played on that day. Not just that game. It's gonna be other 4 games for week 0 of the college football season. So college football is winding up. So looking forward to talking about it on this platform on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles. Um, Obviously streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. That's where the show is live streaming right now on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So that's it for the show for the night. Hope you enjoyed this episode on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Be back next week for the 15th episode as episodes continue to pile up. And hope you enjoy the content. And check out, again, my articles on E52A Sports and Lifestyles. E52asports.com. Check out the articles that I write. Check out those articles I just talked about the Hurricanes of 1989 and the history of the Kickoff Classic. So that's it for the show for the night. Hope you enjoyed my content for the night. Talk to you next week, next time, next Thursday night at 9 p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Until then, have a good night.